Good evening and welcome to this edition of Alpha Bytes.
Thank you, sir.
Thyagaraju, President of Rotary Club Ghatkopar.
Yes.
Let me tell you a little about why this concept of Alpha Bytes has come about.
Yes.
As you will realize, as a president, you probably got very tied up and caught up in your activities of the club. So this concept is to actually get to know others in the district. And through this medium, which is the Alpha Bytes, you will probably get to know other presidents, what they do in their personal lives, what they do as presidents, what kind of projects they are concerned about, a little insight into themselves. Yes. And so this Alpha Bytes is created specifically for the purpose of sharing of details or information or individuals in the district.
Yes.
It's your way to connect to them and get to know more about them.
Fine, sir.
So welcome, Thyagaraju. A little word about you. It is an honor for me to install you as president in your club. But like you are a very man of few words. I think your introduction is one of the shortest ones that I probably have. Right. So you've been a senior scientific officer at BARC, which is commendable. And your special interest is, of course, technology management.
Yes.
Right. You're a passionate teacher, which I learned even from what you shared a little while ago about the other Thyagaraju, so many 200 years ago, which was, of course, for the musical session point of view, which you said was the 700 compositions that he has created, which is brilliant insight and knowledge. It's the first time that we got to know about what you kind of mentioned there. And of course, your varied interest in music, sociology, physiology, and Sanskrit, which is, I think I heard you say Sanskrit at your installation, right?
Yes.
And of course, philosophy.
Yes, sir.
So we'll get into a small little question answer session, but before that, would you like to say something to the audience?
I would like to say that I'm very happy to be in Rotary. Initially, I felt that Rotary helps me in expanding my life. Hence, I joined Rotary and I continue to be reasonably an active member in Rotary. Then, over a period of time, my senior colleagues in Rotary identified me to take a presidentship in reasonable time. But for my own reasons, 2 times I had to opt out. And ultimately, now this opportunity has come up. I feel it is a God-given opportunity. At the right time, I took up the presidentship of Rotary. Now, one very interesting point I want to share with you by this opportunity. After 6 months of being a president, I understood recently the real worth of Rotary. This may be surprising to you because what you have done for 12 years, I have been in Rotary for 12 years, but you say after 6 months of presidentship, you got some insight about the worth of Rotary. What is that? Then this is what I want to share with you.
What is that?
Yes. While I was going through the Rotary documentation like constitution, bylaws, and Rotary objectives, etc., means Rotary international objectives, what I found is it is actually shaping an individual. It is shaping a Rotary president rather, because the Rotary president is obliged to read all that documentation and implement in his own way in his club. Then I felt Rotary International over a period of 100 years had cultivated how a good citizen is supposed to conduct himself and how a good organization has to conduct itself, how a leadership plan has to be made, how the list of goals have to be made, and how those goals have to be directed towards the welfare of the country and the welfare of the world. These fine points have been so well
truly
spelled
a
out.
Wonderful observation, because like you're clearly mentioning is that Rotary actually grooms you to be better humans and grooms you to be better leaders.
Yes.
So that is a good observation made by you. And yes, getting onto the hot seat, which is the president's seat, teaches you a lot.
Yes, sir. Then now I am more convinced that we should bring in more people into Rotary for their benefit rather than for the benefit of the Rotary.
Absolutely. So like you say, you grow as an individual. You've been 12 years, you said. So you grow as an individual, you
Yes,
transform yourself, and you
Yes,
become better individuals.
Yes.
So let me shoot off, because you said you're 12 years into Rotary, and
Yes.
so let me shoot off the question that I want to ask you. Having been not a president, you were
Yes.
11 years into
Yes, sir.
being a Rotarian. Would you say the visibility of Rotary is good, strong, or weak? And if yes, whatever you suggest to say, do you think we need to increase it with better PR, increase spend?
Ah. About this aspect also, I happen to give a thought.
Mm-hmm.
To have a high visibility is not so easy thing, because a vast country like India has many NGOs working actively. So any individual NGO becoming very visible is not so easy. But are we working for visibility is a question. Visibility comes automatically. The beneficiaries will feel good about Rotary. The visibility comes from the beneficiaries. But a large part of beneficiaries are also looking at other NGOs, for example, Lions Club and so many other NGOs, not so famous. So visibility is not so easy, and I do not think we should aspire for being very visible. If we keep doing our work, and if we keep doing more impactful work, if we keep doing expansive work, automatically visibility happens indirectly.
So word of mouth is a better way for you.
Better way of visibility. We do not have to advertise, I think, per se. Per se, advertisement is not needed. Our work itself is a means for advertisement.
So let me drive a distinction home, which I'd like to elaborate on from you.
Yes, sir.
The purpose of PR in the case of Rotary would not be for visibility. It will be more for sharing.
Yes, sir.
So that there is growth in the sharing of the community work that we do.
Yes.
So that there is more community work
Yes.
that we can do with the support of more people. So
Sure.
the end objective is not to create or show off, if I can use that technology, the words. The end objective is to showcase what we are doing, and please help us to do more.
Exactly. So you are indicating to the society that yes, we are here. When you have a need, please tap our door. That kind of thing is welcome. Yes. From that angle, PR is excellent.
Okay. Okay. We see that when we kind of bring in a very big celebrity, and we bring in more known people, the media automatically gets attracted to the event. So do you think we should bring in more politicians and religious inclined people into Rotary?
Exactly. It's a very good question, sir. I prefer that the politicians and religious leaders have to engage with Rotary, not just for the reason of increasing the publicity, but for the reason that to bring the politicians and the religious leaders more close to the society. For that reason, we have to bring them here.
Into the realm of society.
Yes. Because, for example, I can freely share something about religious leaders. Religious leaders, if you observe many pravachana kartas, because the interface between a religious leader and the society is in terms of pravachanas. Because pravachanas, they actually engage with thousands of people, both through YouTube and through personal lectures of these religious leaders who conduct. Now, religious leaders, by and large, with all good respect for them, I find they might be good at religious literature, but to become fit guides for the society, they need to learn 4 subjects, additional subjects other than literature of the religion, like sociology. They have to learn sociology.
Yes.
They have to learn economics. They have to learn psychology. They have to learn philosophy. Then 5th one is they have to learn science of spirituality.
Oh, yes.
Science of spirituality is something which is so important. While many pravachana kartas claim that they are talking spiritual subject, but are they familiar with science of spirituality is still a question.
Wonderful insight.
So these 5 subjects, if they learn, then they can really impact the society. Otherwise, they will be simply telling some Puranic stories and some moral lessons. That's all.
I like your different ways to look at life. Very nice. So now, just going on to this, Thyagaraju 12 years ago,
Yes, sir.
Thyagaraju today,
Yes, sir.
right? We see you've grown in 12 years.
Definitely.
I don't mean age-wise, I mean individual-wise.
Individually, I
right?
do agree.
So what are the two distinct
Yes, sir.
changes that you see in yourself because of Rotary?
Yes, sir. Because of Rotary, I had opportunity to see the people from different walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
From the fields of professions which were much different from my own.
Mm-hmm.
Even in my own profession, by own nature, though I try to interact with more number of people, but then when it comes to Rotary, there's a class difference. You will get to know many business people, you will get to know many people in unexpected regions, unexpected areas of life. For example, from film industry, you have some Rotarians in our own club. From food industry, there are some Rotarians. From managerial profession, teaching managerial subjects, there's a Rotarian for us. From the sustainable development angle, like pure water supply and solar energy, there's a Rotarian in our club. There's a language teacher in our club. So all these fields are much different from my own professional field. So I found a gamut of variety of professions available in the country because of my being in the Rotary.
Oh, wonderful.
Then there were and there are the chartered accountant family in our Rotary. It's very interesting. The chartered accountant, that gentleman married a chartered accountant. They have two children. They are both chartered accountants. They married also. Their spouses are also chartered accountants. This kind of passion I would not have been able to see outside the scope of Rotary.
Great, Thyagaraju. What we really see in you is that you have a different way of presenting things and looking at different aspects. You just spelled out the chartered accountant story.
Yes, sir.
You know, Rotary also is an organization which needs to sustain itself, and it does charge certain dues, etc. Though I might mention here that amongst the NGOs, we would be probably one of the lowest per capita expenses we incur, which is just about 7 to 8% is what we really is. So going forward on that, Rotary has dues. Do you think there should be a disparity in the amounts these dues are charged vis-a-vis developing nations and developed nations?
Yes. Even within our own country, we have a diversity. Within India itself, we find some Rotary clubs charging very high. And actually charging very high in a Rotary club gives a message to the general public that we are meant for only some higher bracket of people. Simple ones don't think about us. This message we are indirectly giving by our very figure of the dues, the yearly subscription. That itself puts people off if the charges are very high. At the same time, there's a little paradox. You are serving the lowest rung of the society. At the same time, when you have to take people into Rotary, you are attracting people are of highest rung of society. It's a contrast. But one point is there. I clearly appreciate when you bring in the highest rung of people into Rotary, because you are making highly privileged people to shell out some of their time as well as some of their resources, financial resources, for the benefit of the needy part of society. From that aspect, you are doing excellent.
So, like the case of any employee versus employer, you always have one employer who employs about 200 employees.
Yes.
So, it's not that they serve him, but all are part of an organization.
Exactly.
So, similarly, the disparities make an organization, if I can really put that.
Yes.
So, Coming from that perspective.
Yes. Then we need to really take a hard look on how to take into Rotary the members of the society who are not very senior in terms of entrepreneurship and employment. The current situation is a very senior officer can join Rotary as a member whose salary is more than 1 lakh rupees a month. Out of 12 lakhs rupees a year, he can shell down 25,000 a year for Rotary. But if a middle level manager who gets only something like 6 lakhs a year, for him, he may find it a little difficult to shell down 25,000 rupees a month. I'm just giving an example, figures. Then that means we are not attracting a middle level population of the country.
Okay, so let's look into that deeply.
Yes.
So, in 11 years you've served the district, which you must have headed certain committees in the club. You must have been part of the committees.
Yes.
So, which is that enjoyable takeaway moment that you've had with any committee? Give us one incident.
Yes, sir. If you take my case, except in the first year, I've been a director of almost all the years. I thank the Rotary Club my Rotary Club who identified me. Just from the second year onwards, they made me director. Then I chose the field. I chose vocational service as my field. In the vocational service, I have actually included the youth development also.
Oh, wonderful.
So as long as I was a vocational director, for youth aspect, I was myself handling it.
So is that your moment of joy?
Yes. I used to feel, yes, something is flowing from my side. I used to teach the school children under the platform of Rotary. I used to teach college children under the platform of Rotary. So, means enriching them. My teaching was not simply repeating their curriculum.
Syllabus, okay.
Yes. So it was something like adding something more for their joy of studies. So there was always joy from my side that I'm adding some value to them. And of course, they too expressed it. That added to my joy. Yes, they are also influenced by this teaching. So this area has been the very close, it was close to my heart. Then as the time passed, now when I have been chosen as president, I made two separate wings. For vocational, I happened to pick up a director. For a youth wing, a separate director I happened to pick, depending upon their personal qualities.
Emphasis wanted to be stronger on that.
Yes. So two people and very choicest people were chosen, and they are doing good wonders.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure to be with you on Alpha Bytes. And there's a great lot of insight that I've seen from you, heard from you.
Yes,
and actually, I like your creative new angles. It's very clear that you're a very well-educated person and have thorough knowledge about even history and things like you just cited. So thank you for being here, and it's been a pleasure to have you here.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Had a nice time with you.